This is reposted.
Today's quote comes from friend of the show, Dr. Amy Shah. Um, she says a specific age, but this could really apply to anyone. I found this in a tweet of hers. She said, "You are too scared to spend 5 years learning something new because you're 40. Yet in 5 years, you'll be 45 and wish you started at 40. Start now. Start where you are. Don't regret it later." I think this is really true. I was actually talking to Nicole this weekend about like at what point is it too late to start a new career? I mean, you've kind of been looking around for other things. Nicole was like, when I was in my 20s, I thought starting a new career at 35 would be too late, but now that I'm in that zone, it doesn't seem like it. I think the collective society has changed their view on starting a new career, but have you ever considered starting something new?
Of course. My thing with this quote with Dr. Shah, whom I'm a big fan of, what's the context she's saying this? She's saying, like, you know what? There are people out there that think they can't actually start something new, like learn a new skill or go back to college or learn a new fun hobby. Are there really people out there that say, like, you know what, past 40, you can't learn anything new?
I think people are definitely think that. And I think also coming out of the pandemic, with things reopening, I think a lot of people said, "Oh, I have all this time at home now. I'm going to get back in shape. I'm going to learn how to play the piano or whatever." A year later, they haven't done it. It's like, well, even if you wasted that year saying you're going to do it, it's not too late to start it. I think that's kind of where I think she's coming from.
I mean, I just think as human beings, like we're always evolving, right? I don't think there's ever an age where you can say, even when you're 80, like, I just can't learn anything new. I'm a big fan of like, what, once again, you could, if you're 55 years old and had a career as a whatever, you can go back to law school and get your degree and become a lawyer. It all kind of just, our brains certainly aren't dead at this particular point. So you can still function and do whatever you want to do.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of what her point was, and maybe less people than I think have that mindset, but I feel like it's a commonly held thing. It's like, oh, it's too late to do whatever because I'm already in my career, or it's going to be harder to learning a new language. I know I don't want to try to learn a new language just because it's annoying, but
45 is an interesting age. I like that you put that in the quote because it, like, 45 for, most people ish. You usually have young, middle-aged kids at that point. So you're balancing a career, you're balancing kids, you're balancing a wife. So I feel like, but I still say, hey, it's kind of something that we talk about all the time. It's like, hey, you can sit and watch Netflix shows all you want at night and be kind of lazy-ish, or you could cut your time and do it. Because I feel like a lot of people use the excuse, I just don't have any time. I can't learn coding at this age. I actually a little bit out of the 40s ish that just went back to school to artificial intelligence, started taking classes at community college because they wanted to know about artificial intelligence. That's like, it was an inspiration to me, like, you know what? And community college, by the way, in San Francisco, free. So it was free to learn about a technology you wanted about.
yeah. I took classes a couple years ago and went through a certificate program at UCLA. And I think it's just people aren't, I mean, especially with school, people aren't used to going into class or logging in, and it's just a different. Am I still recording?
Still recorded.
And it's just a different mentality being in class. So I think it's, I don't know, just go out and do it. Why not? I mean, it's just, I guess that's more of what I kind of always say, but uh, I mean, it can seem daunting, especially maybe getting in shape is less daunting, but something starting like becoming a lawyer, be like, okay, am I going to do this for the next I don't know how long it takes to become a lawyer, but it's years. And I think that's more of like, if your goal is far off, it's like, just take it one step at a time. Like 5 years from now, if it's going to take you 5 years to do something, if you start now, 5 years from now, you'll be there, as opposed to being like, oh, it's going to take me 5 years. And I think that's a trap you can fall into, is keep kicking it down the road.
But I would even take it the other direction and say, if you want to become a lawyer because you just want to become a lawyer, or you want to become a lawyer because you want to do some good in this world, you want to go to class to learn something so that you can make a difference. And so even just going to class is important to you because you want to learn that information and then apply it. Like, don't do things because in 6 years your life will be better. Do it because your life will be better because you're learning something new. And all the science says our brains, once we kind of toss them aside and think we can't learn anything new, that's when Alzheimer's sets in. That's when all sorts of things mentally start happening to older adults when they're not learning anymore. So I think the science is saying, like, keep your brain fresh, learn new things all the time.
And you'll be more interesting at parties. So you'll have more stuff to talk about.
Oh, you just took that from me, sucker.
Which is maybe the most important thing. Well, if you want to become a lawyer just to make money, please reach out. You can find us at Reposted Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I'm Andrew Keller for The Crooked Lawyer. Thanks for stopping by.